Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, Tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua back with the World War III Daily Update. And we're going to start right here in 2nd Ezra. We're going to show you World War III and what is going to abruptly halt World War III. All right. And what is going to abruptly halt World War III as they're fighting each other? These different countries will be fighting each other, and suddenly they're going to stop fighting each other and fight against who the world calls Jesus and the angels. All right? Or who the world will call the aliens, the alien invasion. Okay? Now, this is 2nd Ezra 13. I'm going to go to 33. All right? Now, we'll start at 32 because this is when the one you call Jesus, whose name is Yahweh in the Hebrew, he's going to come in to the fray of World War III as it's going on. All right? Now, first, let's start at 31. Okay? And this is World War III. 2nd Ezra 13:31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another. Okay? So you got one city against another city, one place against another place, and one people against another. Okay? Different countries. They would be fighting in different places, different cities against each other. And then it goes, and one realm, okay, dealing with the spiritual realm or the heaven, the fourth dimension, and the third, okay? Because the angels and the one you call Jesus are going to come in from the fourth dimension and enter into the fight that's going on in the third dimension, all right? And here's where they come in. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen, which I showed thee before. Then shall my son, okay, that's the one you call Jesus, be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending, which goes back up further in the text where he came out of the fourth dimension, okay? And when all the people hear his voice, whose voice? The Son of God, whose name is Yahweh, who the world calls Jesus. When all the people hear his voice, meaning his lasers coming from his war chariot, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So every man in his own land, wherever you happen to be fighting, what land? One city against another, one place. Wherever place you are fighting against each other, you're going to leave that battle, right? Which is World War III. All over the world, they're going to be fighting each other on different fronts. You got a front in Eastern Europe right now. You got a front in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in the Middle East. You got the Israelis fighting against the Persians or the Iranians, if you will, which all of the Arabs are going to get involved in that thing, all right? The dragons of Arabia. Then you got over in Southeast Asia, what's going on in Taiwan. So World War III is going to be jumping off in all these different places, right? One place against another. One city against another, all right? One people against another, right? So right here when it says, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So let's look at that in Common English Bible. All right. Here it says, when all the nations hear his voice, it's about his laser, then each one will leave its own region where you happen to be fighting and will leave off the wars they were waging against each other. That's World War III. And an innumerable multitude, what is this? Can I get rid of that? An innumerable mob will be gathered together. That's all the armies of World War III. All the armies of the world. As you saw, wanting to come and fight against him. Against who? Against the sun. All right? And then my son. They're going to fight against who? Wanting to come and fight against him. Against who? The Most High Son, the Son of God. All right? So that's World War III in the Bible. Okay? Now let's go to Revelation real quick. 19 and 19. And this is that same fight. First they were fighting each other, and then they're going to stop fighting each other, like it just said. And who are they going to fight against? All right, this is Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast, NATO and the EU, and the kings of the earth, right? Vladimir, Elon Musk, right? And their armies gathered together, a great multitude, to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Who sat on the horse? The rider on the white horse. And I saw heaven open, the fourth dimension. And behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness doth he judge and make war. Right. Jump down to 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in linen white and clean. Let's get a visual of that real quick. Here's a white horse. It's going to look like. All right. All the armies of the world are going to fight against the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ and the angels. All right. At the end of World War III. They're going to be fighting each other first, and then they're going to stop. They're going to leave off from fighting one another to fight against the Son and the angels that are with him. Read that again. And when all the people hear his voice, what is his voice? It's the weapon systems on these craft that can't be stopped. All right? When all the people hear his voice, let's get that. Let's get his voice. Start at 3. 2 Ezra 13 and 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man, what man? The Son, Yahushua, who you call Jesus, waxed strong with the thousands of, who are the thousands of heaven? The angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, what voice? Them lasers. All they burned that heard his voice. What does that mean? What burns when you hear someone's voice? Like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. A laser is concentrated fire. Okay? The voice that went out of his mouth. Okay? That voice. Jump down to 10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, that's his voice, as it had been a blast of fire, that's that laser, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's them lasers. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. That's all the armies of the world, and burned them up every one. How does somebody's voice do that? Ezra is describing what he saw. He saw them lasers. Okay? So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. That's what them lasers do. Right? When I saw this, I was afraid. Go watch War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. And watch them tripods shooting lasers and people turning into dust and smoke. Go watch it. Okay? Anyway, I'm just pointing out World War III in the Bible. All right? And we did that. So now let's get an update on where we are in World War III. All right? So this is Military and Foreign Affairs Network. May 12th is today, which is Thursday. Russian-Ukraine War, Day 78. Let's listen to a bit of this.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today is day 78 in the ongoing war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. And today we're going to start out our coverage down by Snake Island. As we know, this area is continuing to be contested. Right now, it looks as if there could be Russian forces still on the island. We do know that over the last several days, just prior to the Russian May Day celebration, Victory Day, the Ukrainian forces may have attempted to launch a special operation to seize control of the island. It does not appear that operation was successful. Now, with that being said, it does appear that the Ukrainians have done a very good job at really tying down Russian forces and striking out at Russian forces on this island. We can confirm through video evidence that Ukrainian drones have struck the island and targets around the island, to include obviously ships and helicopters that have landed on the island a multitude of times. And I think at this point the Russians are weighing the cost benefit of still trying to keep forces on that island. We also know that as reported many days ago about the Russian frigate, the more modern frigate that may have been hit, that appears to not have occurred. And obviously, this is older news, but this gives you an idea of the continued operations by both forces that are continuing for Snake Island. And at this point, while it could be beneficial to Russian forces to at some point put long-range air defense systems on the island, quite possible anti-ship missile systems as well that could be directed against NATO forces, especially near Romania, and also serve as a more or less a floating weapons depot for possible use of other weapon systems as well. But we do know that these Ukrainian drones are continuing to operate. The Russians have been able to shoot some down, but the Ukrainians continue to fly some of these drones within the vicinity of Snake Island and launch some long-range precision-guided missile attacks, especially with some of those MAM-Ls that are on the TB2 Bayraktar drone.
All right, good enough. So we don't have to go into a commercial. So that's the whole Snake Island debacle. We hear many different stories coming out of there. And which one do we believe? All right. Anyway, early on they said that they were over there building race-specific bioweapons in one of the bioweapon plants that have suddenly disappeared from the headlines. But anyway, let's go ahead and close with let's get Joel 3. Because, I mean, here's what's going on. From right now until the end of the world as we know it, nothing but war and things getting worse. All right? You don't see what's coming down the non-pipeline right now? All right? The, what do you call that? The, whatever they disrupted, the resupply, whatever. They got the ships out there. They're creating a famine, drought. Okay, gas prices are crazy. The supply chain or whatever. All right, things are about to get crazy. All right. Start right here, 12. Joel 3 and 12. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay. The valley of Jehoshaphat is where the main wars in World War III, Armageddon, if you will be fought, right? As well as other fronts. Okay. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen. Who are the heathen? Well, the heathen are the other nations other than Israel. All right. It says, there will I sit to judge all the heathen. Okay. All you other nations other than the Israelites, who are the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and the speckled bird. All right. So it's judgment time. All right. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Whose wickedness? All the heathen. Okay. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. Hey, this shit's going to be crazy. All right? And who is God fighting for? The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, right? And utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall quake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel, and none else. And that's just what it is. All right? It is what it is. You can try to include everybody, but what you don't understand is when the Most High says this, it says, but the Lord will be the strength of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. That's it. It doesn't say everybody. Yeah, but what about the Gentiles? No. It didn't say, and the Gentiles right here. Because the Gentiles that Paul went to are the children of Israel. Here's what you don't understand. Okay? When you try to say, yeah, but it's for everybody, anybody who believes. No, it's not. It's for any of the children of Israel that believe, including the Gentiles who are Israelites. Because Israelites can be Gentiles too. Those are the Gentiles. Paul was the apostle to the Gentiles that were Israelites. All right, let's prove that real quick. This is Romans 9. Paul is only dealing with his people, just like God. Who are God's people? The Israelites. What does this say? Paul's concern for who? The Jews. The Jews that they were calling Gentiles because they had left off from being Jews. Doesn't change what your nationality is. You could be living in Greece, living as the Grecians do. You could be living in Rome, this is Romans. Oh, Paul was talking to the Romans. Those Romans were Israelites. He's going to tell you right here. In the book of Romans, why does it say Paul's concerned for the Jews? The Jews that were living in Rome. The Jews that were living in Corinth. The Jews that were living in Philistia. Or Philippi. Okay? Those are those. Paul was going to these cities, these countries, all right? The Grecians, right? They're neither Jew nor Greek. Those Greeks were Israelites. Just like I live in America, I'm an American, but my nationality is I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Just like in ancient Rome, you had a bunch of different nations living there. Just like here in America. Okay? Try to tell a East Indian that he's an American. He's like, I live in America, but I'm an East Indian. Okay? All right, this is Paul. All right? He's going to tell you who he's dealing with. All the people that Paul went to are Israelites. Okay? I say the truth in Christ, I lie not, my conscience also bearing me witness, and the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that myself were accursed from Christ. For who? For my brethren, his brothers, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Okay? Those Gentiles that Paul went to were his brethren, his kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Plain and simple. Paul didn't go to the other nations. He went to his people living in the other nations, living as when in Rome, those Israelites were doing as the Romans were doing. And we can prove this over and over and over and over again. All right? And you're going to come with all your rebuttal, and all your rebuttal is going to get shot down every single time, whether you understand it or not. You don't. Paul is clearly making a distinction. What does it mean? For my brethren, my kinsmen, what does this mean? According to the flesh, you have to be born in Israel. Oh, I'm a spiritual Israelite. This cuts that. According to the flesh, your bloodline has to go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. He's making it clear. He's making it clear who Christ came for. Israelites concerning the flesh. And that's just it. Okay. No, it's a sad story. Okay. But the truth is always going to be the truth. And you're going to come to find out that this is the truth. That when all is said and done, here's what you're going to say. What you're going to say, those niggers were right. Those niggers were right. Guess what? Paul was one of those niggers. Well, that's Niger. Paul, right? This Paul. That Paul, which is this Paul, was called nigger, right? Well, don't believe me, do you? Well, it's not Niger, it's nigger. What does it mean? A Christian. Definition: a Christian. They were calling Paul a nigger. Nigger. Got it? Anyway, so with that, that's your World War III update, my nigga. With that, we hope that the elect are edified, you brothers and few sisters, and with that, see you tomorrow. Shalom.